Hey you guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Trey, and I want to talk about Sword Art Online, Alicization. I've watched all of Sword Art Online, so I haven't got a chance to get the light novels, but I want to get the light novels. Eventually, I'm gonna get the light novels. It's been a while, but I've been keeping up with Sword Art Online ever since it first came out, and I understand how some people feel about Jiza-kun, and the fairy dance arc was like the turning point for a lot of people, but I've enjoyed it, to be honest. I really like the series. I mean, of course, the fairy dance arc was horseshit, to be honest, and the premise of Sword Art Online was pretty cool. I just felt like a little bit of part one of Sword Art Online, when they were in SAO, was a little rushed, especially when they discovered who the final boss was, and you're just like, holy crap. But other than that, the reason why I want to talk about it, because, you know, Netflix has the rights to Sword Art Online now. So they did Alicization, and then Alicization War of the Underworld, and apparently we're going to be doing a live action. They're going to be doing several live action movies based off of Sword Art Online. Yikes. And there are some video games as well for Sword Art Online. I haven't got a chance to play any of the Sword Art Online video games, because they all been spread out through so many multiple consoles, and consoles at the time that I didn't have, so I couldn't really tell you, or I just haven't seen them in stores to pick them up. But I'm quite sure the video games of Sword Art Online is pretty cool. But I mean, Sword Art Online is basically like probably a watered down version, a little bit of watered down version, but a more modern version of Hack Sign. If any of you guys remember Hack Sign, like, man, talk about getting stuck in a virtual world, a virtual MMO. Now that was the original starter of that nonsense right there. I mean, that's the earliest of when I've seen where people get trapped in video games or whatever, and the world becomes real for them. It was Hack Sign for me. So as you guys know, if you guys have been paying attention, Sword Art Online Alicization picks up right after Sword Art Online Ordinal Scale, the movie, which is pretty cool. Like I said, it's really enjoyable nowadays that they are including these movies are also being tied into the overarching narrative, because, you know, back in the day, most anime movies do not follow involve the main storyline, you know, and sometimes the movies don't even make any logical sense. But with Sword Art Online Ordinal Scale, it takes place right after the events of Ordinal Scale, and Kirito is doing a project for Wrath called the Underworld, and basically they take his mind and they create him from the beginning. Like, he sits in this virtual, like, this bed pad. I forgot what the hell they fucking call this shit. I'm not really paying. I mean, it's not that I'm not paying attention. It's just that some of the words sometimes overarching, and it's just me getting my initial thoughts before I forget things anyway, or whatever. But basically, they wanted to do this project where they wanted to create floodlights, and creating, you know, the light nodes and the brain pattern functions of a human mind, like creating it from out of nothing. So they created this program called the Underworld, and basically within the Underworld, it's a whole civilization and worlds of people that are their own human, and they have their own life and everything. And that's and that kind of leads to what Kirito, he grew up in a village where he was friends with Yugio and Alice and stuff like that. And of course, you know, as being little kids and, you know, having fun or whatever, And when he's in that place, time passes differently in Underworld over here in the real world. So, like, for instance, 5 minutes is 5 years for them over in Underworld. You know, life happened. A lot of things happen within seconds and minutes. That's just how the time gauge is, because they wanted to experiment. How can they create a floodgate? And how do you simulate a floodgate? You know what I mean? So, of course, because Kazuto decides to volunteer and goes into the machine, and things happen like it's supposed to happen. And of course, him and Asuna, after he finished his little part-time job of doing that, him and Asuna, they decide to go out on a date, and he gets attacked by one of those weirdos from the previous game, Gun Gale Online, I believe. Was it either his Gun Gale Online or from SAO? And they attack Asuna and Kirito, and Kirito defends Asuna, but he also takes like this, even though he stops the guy, he also like gets poison in his he got this poison that kind of like supposed to like automatically that kind of like attacks the brain or whatever. It's kind of hard to kind of explain if you're not really watching the show. But anyway, they go to Raft and they put him in the machine so they can recreate his floodlights, so he can wake up from the coma, because since it's poison, it's supposed to leave him brain dead. But with the help of technology, they decide they're going to redo the entire program, where him growing up in that village and going through life all over again. So of course, this is where we follow Kirito and Yu-Gi-Oh finding Alice, because Alice got taken by Integrity Knights after breaking the rules of the forbidden world. There are like rules in the underworld that you have to follow, and if you don't follow, you get punished or whatever. And some kids, sometimes some people get kidnapped and get taken from their families. Some get killed. It all depends on what your action is. So Kirito and Yu-Gi-Oh decide they're going to train to become knights in training, so they can go and save Alice. And of course, while that's going on, America sends in this team to this covert Japan team to go and attack the Wrath, which is aka the sea turtle, where Kirito is in. And of course, Asuna finally finds out what Kirito's been doing, because she didn't know that he was doing tests for Wrath anyway. But when she finds out, she makes it her way over there, and at the same time that she makes her way over there, this mysterious team from Japan is also making their way over there, holding the sea turtle hostage. But at the same time, because they want to get the floodgates, where they want to get the light boxes, and the light box holds all of the floodgates of all of the artificial AI, because they kind of are AIs, but at the same time they're kind of not AIs, because they do believe that they're human. So it's one of those weird kind of things when you kind of think about it. You're just like, holy crap. So now that the Wrath is under attack, Kirito is also inside. He's fighting. Him and sorry, these names are a little confusing. Yu-Gi-Oh are training to become knights in training, and of course, Kirito being Kirito, when something happens to these two girls they were mentoring over, they broke the rules. They broke the rules, and were getting punished for it, because they're knights in training, and they killed two people to protect the girls. But the rules stated that they're not allowed to raise swords against certain people or in safe zones of the world. Like, the world is real for them and for everyone, but it still has like technology based or whatever. And of course you have the administrator Quintella. She figured out a way to communicate with real world and, you know, convince somebody from the real world to give her administrative control over the underworld. And that's why she's like this all-powerful being or whatever, because she was able to contact and break through the barriers that, you know, prevented her from contacting the underworld. So it's real crazy as hell. And of course, you know, because they broke the rule, they're supposed to go to the church. And the church is where the Integrity Knights are at, and this is where their old friend Alice is at. But the problem is the Alice that they known is kind of deleted, and they have this new Alice now, Integrity Knight Alice. So it is crazy as hell. It's real crazy when you kind of think about it. Like, God dang it, you be like, God, Lord have mercy. But they go through, of course, you know, because it's Kirito, and you know, because he's Jesus-kun, like, y'all, you know, it's if you know, you know why people call Kirito Jesus-kun. And it's like a funny anime fandom, a little insider joke or whatever. It's kind of hilarious when you kind of think about it in the whole thing. But yeah, you know, we got to make sure Jesus-kun goes and save the day, because that's exactly what Jesus-kun do. Oh, Lord have mercy. The Pontifex Church. Yeah, the Pontifex Church. So, of course, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh! And Kirito go and they fight their way to the ministry because they're tired of the rules or whatever's going on, because it just doesn't make any sense what's happening in this world. And and I think Kirito is like starting to wake up and realize that this isn't the real world. This isn't his world anyway. And again, while he's doing that, while he's going on this grand journey to stop the ministry, this raft is being attacked by these people. So like Asuna and some of the scientists, some of the people, they have to try to protect and shut down the base so they can make sure that nobody gets through. It is crazy as hell. And of course, you know, Ichigo and not Ichigo, Lord have mercy, Yu-Gi-Oh! And Kirito fight their way, and even for a time being, when they were fighting, Yu-Gi-Oh! Even got kidnapped by one of the knights, and he was placed in front of the minister, and she also like mind controlled him and tried to wipe his memories away and make him become an Integrity Knight. But you know, he broke through, he fought back against her, and she like bisected him in front of Kirito, and it gave Kirito the memories of Sword Art Online and his past life, and realized like he has to change everything about what's going on here. So it was a little crazy. But you know, of course, Kirito and Quintel have this major fight, which, by the way, like, she lost her arm, and instead of just growing it back, she just was like, screw it, and then she erased all her clothes off of her. So she got this beautiful purple hair, and it's covering her titties and her private area. And then they're just fighting. They're just fighting as hard as they can. And I'm just thinking to myself, hey, you do realize as a ministry, you could have just like grew arms back and put some clothes on. No, we're just gonna fight butt naked. Okay, all right. You know, I mean, if you got a bad body, go for it. That's what I said. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you got a bad body, go for it. You know, it just don't make no goddamn logical sense if you ain't. but it's just like, we're in a sword fight. Put some goddamn clothes on, baby. But that's just my opinion on that one. But I mean, I know some of y'all, some of y'all might be like, what the fuck? But it is what it is, to be honest. I mean, the battle was pretty cool. It's just one of those things like, you sure you just don't want to put nobody on there? And of course they run into Alice, their old friend. She doesn't remember stuff, but then she just there's a thing in here. It's like when you disobey orders or whatever, or disobeying the programming that was set or whatever, even though there was not supposed to be a programming, there is a programming, and it's in your right eye, and the code is 871 or 876, I believe. And if you break that, you burst your eye out, because you're not supposed to go against those orders or the law or whatever and stuff like that. And that's what's been happening, is these restrictions on the right eye that wasn't there. And then you kind of find out that there was a mole inside of Raph, who put that code in there under the request of Quintel, when she discovered what was going on, and when she realized that she was in another world and not the real world like she thought it was. So it's kind of crazy when you think about it. And of course Kirito finally defeats the administrator with the help of Yu-Gi-Oh! And of course, Yu-Gi-Oh! Dies. He told Kirito, have strength, have faith, I will always be with you. And of course, he dies, and him and the Alice that they grew up with, their spirit goes off into the afterlife or whatever, and he's left with Kirito is left with the real Alice, and Asuna is trying to contact Kirito. She finally able to contact him, but at the same time, with them with Raph shutting down the power system, and with the anguish that Kirito faced, his mind is shattering right now from the trauma of everything that's going on. Because you have to remember, the boy was already in a coma anyway, and they thought that if they can rebuild back up his pathways and his light nose, he can wake up sooner. But of course, Raph had other plans that kind of messes up little things, which kind of leave him in emotional distress. And of course, when the power got pulled, even though it wasn't main power, it kind of still affected him to the point where he became a vegetable or whatever at the point of when he was trying to contact when he contacted the real world. It's kind of sad when you think about it. You're like, God dang it, Kirito, you had everything, you had everything for you, but things happen. So of course, 6 months later, sort of in that time, but it's only been a few hours, Kirito and Alice, goes off to the remote island, and they leave or whatever. And then you got these people from Gun Gale Online. It was Gun Gale Online, because they were playing Gun Gale Online, and Laughing Coffin Leader from SAO, he has the ability to control people. They've been tricking, so they were able to hack into the underworld, and were able to get like administrative characters on their side, like the Emperor Vulcan and like the captain of something or whatever. And he killed a few people to show his powers or whatever. And they started this entire war with the Human Empire versus the underworld, the Dark Army, which is kind of crazy how everything happened with that one. And of course, there's been fights and stuff like that, and everybody's trying to protect Kirito. And then but the Emperor Vulcan, he wants Alice. He wants Alice because he likes to do this whole soul sucking bullshit, where he fell in love with this girl when he was little, and I guess because his dad told him something stupid. His dad didn't tell him something stupid, but it was just kind of like, how did you get that? How did you go from that one? So basically, when he was little, what's the goddamn name? God dang it, what's his name? Yeah, he is No, Alicia was the girl. Alicia was the girl, and the guy was the thing. Boy, holy crap! I am drawing a blank on the guy's name. That's not Vulcan. Oh Lord have mercy, because he's like oh, Gabriel, yeah, that's his name. His weird ass. His dad told him, like, hey, bugs are able to live a few days without their heads and stuff like that, and just telling him about the soul of people and souls of animals, pretty much. And he was like, hey, if bugs can do it, and humans can probably do it, I guess. I don't know what the boy was thinking, but apparently he was like, hey, I wonder if I can do it with Alice. Like, I want to be able to see her soul or whatever. I wonder what it'll be like. So he stabs her in her ear, and as she's dying, he got a glimpse of her soul, and apparently it tasted real good to him. I don't even understand how the fuck that even works, but weirdos all over. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes you just gotta wonder about these people, but it is what it is. Whatever. So that explains his obsession with souls or whatever. And because in the AI, because in the underworld, these people really do have souls. You know what I'm saying? Like, they believe that they're human. They are supposed to be treated as humans. So it's kind of weird, but it's whatever. Anime logic, you don't question it. You just kind of go with it. So apparently he was like, now if I get this Alice girl, I can also devour her soul and taste how delicious it is, because he kind of showed his power when he became emperor. He killed like the second in command and the leader of the Dark Army. The Dark Knights, where he literally sucked their souls. And I'm just like, what the fuck? like anime logic. It is what it is. He likes experiments on people to see if he can get that taste of of the soul, like he did with Alicia, and how he was able to see her soul leave her body when she died. And I'm just like, my God, why would you even do something like that to somebody? Like, that just didn't make no kind of sense, to be honest. But it is what it is when it comes to that kind of stuff. And so, of course, Oxino finally shows up in Underworld, because after Gabriel finally gets in Underworld with his crew, the crew that's been attacking the Underworld, they've been tricking American players into thinking that the Japanese players are trying to destroy this beta testing game or whatever, not realizing that the Japanese gamers are trying to protect the underworld people. You know what I mean? So it's gotten real crazy, to be honest, when you think about it. But Asuna also was able to, Yui, their daughter, Kirito and Asuna's adoptive daughter, was able to convince some of the SAO players that, hey, if you want to, we can transfer our data or whatever, our character data or whatever, into the underworld so we can defend them and protect them or whatever, which they do. But they all have their individual battles or whatever and stuff like that. Some of them come to Asuna, some of them are far away from Asuna, like Lifa and Shion, which is kind of crazy. Like, how does that work? Everybody visits Kirito. Kirito's been trying to speak or whatever, but his mind is fractured because of all the emotional damage that's been happening to him while he's been in SAO, and while he's been in these virtual worlds in general. So it's one of those tough little things where you just be like, God dang it, So while he's dealing with that, that trauma, the war continues on, and more SAO players finally comes or whatever, and then on the outside they realize like, hey, these three girls, Asuna, Shion, and Lifa, they all have connections to Kirito, and maybe if we can spark their memories and their floodlights and put it into Kirito's floodlight, it can wake him up. And it kind of worked, but it was just like one more thing, and then they realized it's a connection to Yu-Gi-Oh, because that's what really like brought that mental anguish onto him when he lost Yu-Gi-Oh from the battle with the Ministry. Once all of that came connected, and then of course the guy from Laughing Coffin was about to kill Asuna or whatever, he finally, woke up, and he finally was able to take him down or whatever, and he turned him into a damn tree in the system. So the man is a tree in the underworld, which means he's theoretically dead, which means he's never going to be able to log out ever. So it is what it is at that point. But that's what you get when you try to be terrible and evil. And of course, Asuna and Kirito, they're going after Alice, because Alice is being run down by Gabriel, who logged back into his Gun Gale Online form, and he becomes this like demonic demon thing or whatever, where it can literally like make you lose the will to fight or whatever, and absorb your life force. Which I'm just like, how the fuck is that even possible? You're in Gun Gale Online. I don't even understand how that is even possible. But again, anime logic, And of course, Kirito has a final battle with him while Asuna gets Alice out. And of course, all of the past people from that died thanks to Gabriel at the time, and throughout the battle with the administrator with Kirito, was telling him like, he's a monster and you have to take him down and whatever. And even the administrator, she shows him and she's like, you have my power now, show him what it means to be a real human or whatever. And of course, Jizukun does Jizukun power, and he lets him know. He lets him know some things. You know what I'm saying? He really does let him know some things, and he kills him. So yeah, he does. He kills him because his mind is completely fried. His mind is completely fried. And then what's so funny is he thought he can log back. He thought he can log out or whatever. Oh no, you're dead. And then the girl that oh shit, god dang. The girl that he liked, the girl that he did those terrible things to, Alicia, he thought that he saw her spirit, and she pulled him down to the underworld, and he was like, no, leave me alone, let me go, I don't want to go. And I'm just like, after you did all those terrible things to those people, experimenting on them so you can see their soul and suck their souls or whatever, and eat their souls. I don't even know how, but again, anime logic. You don't question it. You just kind of be like, whatever. And she was your first person that you did it to. That little girl who didn't even deserve it. Like, you killed this little girl for nothing. Like, I don't even understand what you was thinking. But it is what it is. So he goes bye-bye. And Kirito and Asuna, they were able to finally log out Alice, because apparently she was like the programmer. I mean, she was like the spark of the entire underworld at that point. And they got her out of there. But Asuna and Kirito stayed in the underworld for 200 years. Like, damn. And stayed in there for 200 years. They were finally able to get out of there. And their memories were deleted. But Alice becomes sort of like a semi-real person. Because they created a cybernetic body for her. So her mind can be in there or whatever. And because, Japan, America wanted her for weapons. And Japan wanted to use her for weaponized airplane flights or whatever. But now that everything's kind of been exposed, Japan's trying to figure out what they can do with her, and America kind of have to fall back on everything. But you know, she's a real human. She's a real human being, and she has thoughts, she has mind, she has feelings, and she also is in love with Kirito. But I mean, let's be honest, Jizo-kun gets almost every goddamn girl to fall in love with him, even his own fucking sister, who didn't know that was him. I was just like, man, you got to be fucking kidding me. This man got so much pull that when he's in disguise, and his sister didn't even know it was him. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. But it is what it is. But we already know who his true love is, and that's Asuna. So let's stop playing. And of course they want to try to figure out what they can do with how they can save the underworld. And apparently Kazuto's mind was actually copied into another floodgate, because, you know, being alive for 200 years, and, you know, that's a lot. You know, normal human minds can't fathom being alive for 200 years, but yet Kirito and Asuna, you know, were able to stay alive for 200 years, which is basically which wasn't even that long. They were in there for like less than once they finished saving the underworld and everybody got logged out except for Asuna and Kirito, they stayed in there for like probably 30 to 40 minutes or an hour, and that's like 200 years done passed. Like, holy shit. And the Kazuto copy was promised that he's going to save the underworld and Alice, and Kazuto was able to get into the IP address to be able to see the underworld. And of course the series ended where they defeated this giant ball of tentacles, and he said that and the show basically said that Kirito will return. And that's how Sword Art Online Alicization kind of ended. I know this wasn't really one of those kind of things. I'm just talking about it because what I watched, from what I watched, I thought it was really interesting. I know some people really kind of gave up on Sword Art Online after the really because of the whole fairy dance arc, but once you get past that, the show really opens up. The anime really opens up, and it's not bad. I mean, it does have its moments where you can be like, all right, okay, but it is your basic MMO kind of game, and I don't think it deserves the hate that it gets. But I mean, that's just my opinion on the whole situation. I just think that, you know, I think people need to kind of get past season 2 or part 2 and just be like, all right, that happened. The fairy dance arc happened. Let's not do it again, and let's just watch everything else that the show has to offer. And that's what I did. And now there's a Sword Art Online movie, a prequel movie called Sword Art Online Progressive Aries of the Starry Nights, which explains how Asuna got involved with Sword Art Online. Like, oh snap, like that's something really cool too. So I can't really wait to see it. But I know this is kind of one of those random kind of me watching something, and I don't know if people really care about it, but you know, I had to talk about it because I just got done finished watching the whole entire series in like less than 3 days, only because you know how work and stuff gets. But I just wanted to kind of talk about it. But I hope if you guys watch Sword Art Online, let me know. If not, that's fine. But yeah, I had to tell you guys, and yeah, that was it. Tell me what you guys think in comments below, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.